Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. So today I am your host Sayanta, and we have Soham as the co-host with us, uh, and we are going to discuss today about how to crack government jobs in India. So Soham, let's say you want to crack a government job. What do you think? What you need to do?
Yeah, so thank you for having me as the co-host for the session. And so government job, it actually it's one of the big things in India, right? So somebody cracking a government job usually comes as a news because it's so tough, right? It takes a lot of effort, hard work, and uh, I feel a lot of dedication to crack a government job because as you also know that these are not exams that are conducted every year. So sometimes patience is also required, right? You have to wait for years to see the notifications and postings of those government jobs. So I think that's a lot of hard work and expectations that someone has to have, and patience as well to crack a government exam. But that's just my opinion. I haven't cracked something even like government exam, as you know, like both of us are working in different countries other than India. So yeah, so that's
So
that's about it.
yeah, so what we can do is like, why can't we bring somebody today who has cracked government jobs? What do you say about if we have somebody in our panel? Don't you think the viewers will get entertained? They will get some good knowledge out of that person who has cracked several government jobs if we bring somebody like that to our discussion panel?
Yeah, definitely. That would be of great help, I think. And I think that would be the best person to talk about government job because a person who has already cracked a government exam and, and achieved that success, I think that would be the best person to talk about it. So, yeah, that's a great idea to have someone on today's panel.
Great. Then let's actually bring somebody who has not cracked one or two. He has cracked five government jobs, and let's see what are the government jobs that he has cracked. Uh, so he has cracked West Bengal JE 2020 Group A Officer, Indian Railways JE 2020, KMC SAE 2021 Group A Officer, Government of West Bengal Lecturer 2021 Group A Gazetted Officer, and Government of West Bengal PWD Assistant Engineer 2021 Group A Gazetted Officer. So currently he is working as an assistant engineer for PWD in Government of West Bengal. So I think we will get a lot of insight out of him if we actually bring him to our discussion panel and get his how his strategy was, how was the preparation days. So yeah, so if
Yeah, yeah,
Shom,
yeah.
you
I
want
think
to invite him?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I know Moinak. I think and I know he's a person who didn't have things handed on to him on a silver platter, right? He has worked very hard to achieve everything in life, and he's a person who despite seeing several setbacks and challenges in life, kept on going and achieved the success that he dreamt of. So, viewers, let's welcome Moinak Jana to today's podcast and hear about his journey.
And one thing, the good thing is, he was our batchmate in undergrad college. So we are all
Right.
very proud of him. Yes, so yes, let's welcome Moinak Jana. Hi Moinak, welcome to today's podcast and thank you so much for being with us on a Sunday afternoon. Uh, so for our viewers, Moinak, can you please let us know like a little bit about your background, some introduction, which college you passed out from?
Okay, many thanks to Sayanto and Soham, and you guys are doing a really great work because these stories somewhere it needs to be reached to many people so that some people, some aspirants get some knowledge about it mostly because motivated video you can cut from YouTube's, but proper knowledge in civil engineering field that you can get from these videos. Okay, so starting from my career, I did my BE from ISTC Put in the year 2015, and after pass out, I have been associated with Jacobs Engineering, which is a US based company, for 5 years, 2015 to 2020. Then I have been in KMC, Kolkata Municipal Corporation, for 1 year, and then for Another half an year I have served in as a lecturer of government of West Bengal in government polytechnic college, and then from 2022 June onwards, I'm working as an assistant engineer in government of West Bengal PWD. And
Wow,
right now
Awesome.
I am posted in Bhavani Bhavan, Alipur, Kolkata.
great,
Wow,
great.
that's a great journey.
Yeah, it's
So
a short time but long journey.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
like, working at so many organizations and all that, that's awesome. And especially like most of the government organizations are government organizations. So Maynak,
Yes.
like when did you first decide to appear for government jobs? Is it something that you had in mind even when you were like pursuing your undergrad, or was it something that came later to you? And like what motivated you to take that decision? If you can walk us a little bit into your thought process about those exams.
Yes. Honestly speaking, this has not been a plan in when I passed out from the college. It was not in my plan, honestly speaking. So as we all got the job in campusing, so we just shifted our career to a private company, and it was never in my plan. And it was going good in Jacobs. I would not say that I was not happy. It's not like that. I was really happy, but after that, in 2017, I thought of doing masters in IITs, because as in India there is a there is a trend that if we don't pass out from an IIT, there is always a fascination of having a degree from IIT.
right,
So in 2017, I thought about having a master's degree from IITs and then go to abroad with these companies like Jacobs, AECOM. So it was aligned. There is no problem with it. And in 2017, I have appeared for GATE and qualified it. But the result was not very good, but it was a good, as I have got in the second tier IITs and all the NITs. So I thought of continue doing that from second tier IIT. That was not a problem. But the real problem arose at that time due to some problem in my family due to some court cases. So my family income suddenly got zero. So at that time, I need to as I was entering IIT, I left the job in Jacobs at that time. But again, I need to leave the IIT dream and again come back to the Jacobs Engineering India Limited. So that was, I mean, it was a sudden change at that time. So many things happened so quickly that I could not take the decision rightly. But gradually, I thought of my preparation in those days. So those preparation cannot go in vain, just like a phenomena which was out of my control, right?
Mhm.
So again I started doing the preparation along with the job in Jacobs, and at that time the situation was like that it was demanding that I stay with my family.
Okay.
So to stay with my family, I need a permanent job, like a job which will keep me always with my family. that's
Right.
that's the time I thought of the government job. So
Okay.
my requirement was totally different from any others maybe, but it was like this.
right, right.
Yeah.
No, pretty interesting. So basically, for you had, because your primary reason was you wanted to stay with your family and you
Yes.
thought the government job will kind of fulfill that need. Private job might have to transfer
Yes.
to some other state and those kind of that thing, right?
Yes, if you see the practical scenario in Kolkata, you have hardly any private companies of design. I mean, it is 3 to 4 or 5, maybe 6 maximum. So you have hardly any option to switch from one company to another company. And we,
Right.
as you all know, that there are some salary. I mean, salary wise, Kolkata comes later than other metro cities, right?
Hmm.
So it was not a good. I mean, in any day, some company may switch over from here to another metro city.
Right.
Because this is the practical scenario.
Hmm.
So I thought at that time that I need to switch from private to government to stay, mainly support my family and also do something in my career.
Wow,
Right.
pretty interesting. Nice, nice. Okay, let's move to the next question maybe. Uh, so So, Moinak, typically when preparing for government exams, we have seen many aspirants leaving their current jobs and preparing full time for these exams. Like, since these exams are very competitive in nature, right, and it requires a lot of preparation and hard work. However, in your case, you continued your preparation while working for a full time job, right? So, tell us a bit about how you managed to do so and what your rationale behind taking this decision of pursuing both together. Like, what was your preparation strategy for each exam? Because we know you cracked five government jobs, not like one or two, right? And how your typical day looked like during that time.
Yeah. So it's again I have already mentioned the reason, and the fact is that I have no other option. That's the most important fact. I have no other option to to support my family. That was on my priority list because I need to support it financially, right? So I need a salary for that, and also I need to. I have a proper goal what I want from my life in coming years. So that's why I think this is a very priority reason that I need to continue with the both the options. Maybe the people who doesn't have the compulsion of supporting their family financially, they can leave their job and study for the exams. And there is no harm in it. But yes, it's possible to do all those things. It was just a mental barrier you need to achieve, but you can do it, no problem. Okay. And if I go about my routine, see, from morning 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., I need to revise the concept of civil engineering studies. Then from 8:30 to 5:30, it was a working in checkups, and then again 7 after some taking some rest, 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. And it's a regular thing. And on the weekends it's more than 10 hours, 11 hours study for the preparation, because as a general category it takes time, it takes very hard work, and it takes some smart work to crack those exams. Because if you see the notifications, there is hardly seats for general categories. And if there are seats, there are competition is so high that in India it's so high. So,
Right.
Exactly.
but it is achievable. It's not like that. It's not very. It's difficult, but it's achievable.
So, if you can say a little bit about the exams that you cracked, like I know you cracked five government, and give a little bit about like these. Was there a different strategy for each of the exams, or like you prepared a general strategy for all the five exams? And which exams you crack? If you also let us know.
Yes, actually, I have cracked all the exams at that time, apart from only ES, Engineering Services, which is conducted by UPSC, because I did not have that much of time. Apart from that exam, I have cracked every exam, if be it KMC or KMDA, I mean Kolkata Municipal Corporation or Kolkata Metropolitan Development Authority, or it's a state junior engineer, it's a state assistant engineer, or it's a railway services of junior engineers or senior section engineers, and the lecturer. So all the jobs I have cracked, and sometimes some jobs I cracked more than once. And it's a part of process. I mean, it was like a regular affair that I am appearing in some exams, and it was being cracked somehow. uh, see, major strategy was same because I have a major advantage that all the subjects are aligned. My job was in civil engineering, my preparation was in civil engineering, and every exam is of civil engineering. So this is major advantage, but some tweaks are needed, and those tweaks you need to just understand and study the pattern of the exam, the papers, the previous year papers. So if you study last 5 to 10 years papers of each and every exam, so you will understand which tweaks you need to do to crack those exams, apart from doing the major studies, right? So I think the previous year questions are very good suggestions, rather than just having some going to some coaching centers. I think that would be the much better solution.
So you did not have any coaching in
At
this
that time,
period,
I
right?
did not have any coaching center. No.
Wow. Okay.
It's all my own because I didn't have that much of time. So as I have already mentioned, the schedule, it's a very compact schedule. Did not have some coaching time or some extra time you will get. It's not like that.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So that's, I think, great feat that you've achieved, through self study. Because I've seen, people going through so many coaching centers, leaving their job, but, you're a great example of something that you can do along with a full time job and without taking any help from any coaching institute. So that's a great feat, Mainak. But along the same lines, you also said that, managing both, you had like pretty long days, right? So situation may have been stressful, right, at times. So, like, what would your suggestion be to someone, who may be at your position at this point and who has to stay, mentally strong and motivated during that time? Because I'm sure at some point you may have felt that, is it something worth doing, so much of long hours and all that, right? And how important is, family and peer support in these times? If you can say a little bit through your journey, what you
Yeah,
have understood.
absolutely. It's a mentally tough thing. But the thing is that I mean, you need to have a proper goal for it. So it's not like you see a YouTube video of motivation and you will be getting motivated. It's not like that. You must have a proper goal why you are doing this, and
Right.
for that, if you need to sacrifice something, you need to sacrifice. Because as I was working, I have a decent salary in Kolkata, so I can easily enjoy my time apart from the job, right? So
Right.
that I need to sacrifice. I need to sacrifice at that time. But whatever I have sacrificed, I have got back. Okay. So
Exactly.
after I have achieved the goal, I have got back. And I have got back for next 30 years. So that's the major thing I have invested. So why
Exactly.
you are doing those things and what you are investing, it's a very clear goal you need to keep in your mind. Everything, if you are clear in mind, everything can wait and see. Okay, nothing is going by. But in those lines, I want to add another thing is that it's not like that I was not enjoying. It's not like that. I have been to 5 trips in year 2019. So
Yeah.
it although those trips are very small, I mean, 3 days or 4 days trips, but after each exams I need to take, I took break basically for small break for refreshing myself. So it's not like that you cannot enjoy, but it's like you cannot waste your time.
Exactly.
Everything has must be have proper timing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
great answer. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, we got a little bit perspective from your mind. I mean, I'm sure the viewers will appreciate you sharing your knowledge the way you are doing with a lot of frankness. So okay,
No, and
so
yeah.
let's move to the next question maybe. So we see that most success stories we hear generally like at the end at the person cracking the exam or getting the job, right? That the success story ends there. But today we will go a step forward because right now you're working as an engineer in PWD, right? So let's go take a step forward and talk about what happens beyond cracking the exam and getting the job. Like how has life changed for you after you have cracked these exams, right? So basically after you have joined this company like PWD, and is the experience of working on a government job say something very similar to what you had imagined like when you were preparing for the exams, okay? Or is the experience totally different, right? If so, could you please tell us about a few differences, like what your expectation was, what you're finding right now?
It's a very fabulous question because everybody asks about your journey up to the cracking exams. That's very funny thing, and beyond that, nobody knows what happens, and everybody assumes that it happens good. It's not like that. I mean, in government, we presume that people are not working. It's not like that. Officers are mostly hardworking in the government, so that the government is working in a way. Right? They work at least 1 to 2 hours beyond the time schedule, at least minimum. I'm saying, right? And in government in India, it's a huge challenge being a government officer because in India the most problematic thing is population. Also, the most advantageous thing is population. So so you need to handle the people in your office. That's a very tedious job. I mean, you need to handle those things very gently. Otherwise things can go out of your control and you just get the bad name in a few hours or something like that, in a few incidents. So it's a very tough job. But again, in government jobs you get the job security, of course job security you will get, and the respect. And if you do good works, then you will get good recognition in your society, because everybody will around you will know that okay, there is an officer who is working very efficiently. And I mean, everybody will look upon to you as an example sometimes, or they will give others that there is okay. So it's one, in one side it is challenging, and in one side you will get definitely some good extra points for being a government officer.
Right, right. And so you are saying that even the government officers work extra time, so there is even stress in the working hours, right? So you have to go. So that's something we many people may not know it. So yeah, so at least there is a lot of pressure to being a government officer. So okay, so yep. So
Yeah, and I think it's also the urge to work for the country, right? Like you yourself may try to dedicate like 1 or 2 hours more. So that's really appreciable, and a good insight to what people what your life is beyond the exams. But most of it is kind of what you imagined, right? What you had
Yes,
expected in your mind.
actually it is direct, you are contributing directly to the society's cause. So if
Right,
you are doing good things, you will go get the more rewards than you are expecting, right? And
right,
if you are
right.
if you are doing the bad things, then then also you will get worse things than you are expecting, right?
Right, right. But yeah, but looks like it's a very fulfilling job that you have.
Yes, yes.
Right, right. So that's really great. But moving along, kind of in the same line. But since you already worked in government and private, so let's address the famous debate topic, right? Government jobs versus private jobs. So you have worked in a top infrastructure MNC firm, and also a few government jobs, as you already said. So what would you say is the biggest difference? Working in those firms, their strategy of work, and a little bit of insight from you if you can.
Yeah, very good question. And I would say I loved both the jobs, right? Whatever I was in Jacobs, that also I loved it. And now
Okay.
whatever I am in PWD, whatever I am facing, I loved it, right? And every job has their demerit points, but that's not, I mean, that's not an issue. Everybody is doing their job and everybody is facing those things. That's not a
Right.
big issue, right? But the primary thing I would pick up that in private, I mean, in Jacobs, let's say in Jacobs or in private, you will get in-depth knowledge of your subject, right?
Right.
Though the subject is not very much, I mean, not covering many things, but it's a covering few things, but it's in very depth. That's the main point you are getting. I mean, it's the in-depth knowledge you are acquiring from a private company job. Whatever you are doing, you are in absolutely control of all those things, right? And the second is that on addition of it, that you are equipped with the additional technology, latest technology, right? So whatever the latest thing happening in the world, you are familiar with those things. So it's a you are upgraded always yourself, right? Then if you work good in private company, so there is a chance that you got the recognition and also you get the salary hike as per your merit or as per your work ethics,
Mhm.
right? And lastly, if you are not satisfied with your job in private, you can switch it at any time. So there is a flexibility you are getting in private job. But in
Right.
case of government, those things are not like that. Also in case of government also, what you are getting is that you get lesser anxiety, I would say. I mean,
Hmm.
stability everybody talks, but the stability doesn't matter. It's just a lesser anxiety you are facing, right?
Right.
Then also, in addition to it, the respect you are getting, or some facilities like vehicle, your personal car, or your office stuff, you are having a proper personal office stuff for you, for
Okay.
the other works. And also some recognition in your society as a government servant, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And in government there is a time bound promotion. So of course for that there is no not that much of office politics is there, because there is no way of suppressing somebody or upgrading somebody. There is no chance of that, right? And also in government you just you get a taste of whole work as a whole. I mean, you get a global view, because uh, you need to achieve a project throughout on your full own capacity, right? Nobody is going to help you. So you are the authority, you are in charge of it, and you need to do all the things. So once one side you need to just if I give you an example, one side you need to work on RCC project, and in the same area if some steel project is going on, then also you need to do. Some road projects are going on, then also you need to have some knowledge about it. And some administrative issues like encroachment or something like that, if it happens, then also you need to handle those things. So it's a global view you are getting as a administrator or something like that. I mean, in government you are an engineer, also a part-time administrator also.
Wow, no, I mean, I think it's a very in-depth answer that you gave us. So basically, what you're saying, in government, the width is little the scope of work, the width is little bit higher, and in private, the depth is higher, right? Because you
Yes,
know that small thing, but you know it very
yes,
properly.
absolutely.
So nice, nice, very answer. I think, yeah, very good answers that you are giving today. Yeah, thank you for being with us. So let's move on, and let's move to the next. So what would your suggestion be, like, to somebody pursuing their undergrad, or say someone who has already graduated and targeting these exams, like, because you have cracked 5 exams, so what would be your suggestions? Basically, how can some self study and prepare for these exams, because you have done the same thing, right? You have done self study, and in your opinion, how much do coaching institutes and other organized study groups help in the preparation?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. If you see, there are 2 points. If you can self study all the concept of your subject, then you can do it. But if you are not in depth knowledge of your subject, then you can take help of some coaching center. That is, I mean, it's normal. There is no problem with it. But a coaching center will never guarantee your selection, right?
Right.
In every year there are thousands of students from India, from who are undergrads, or after passing the BTech, they're pursuing all those coaching centers. But it's only for having your knowledge clear. So coaching center only helps you to take you into the depth of the subject. But that is only 50% part of your selection, right? After that you need to self study and keep all the things in your mind at a time before appearing an exam. So if you don't have that memory of memorizing all the concepts at a time, then you need to develop it. And that can be developed only by self study. No coaching center can help you in those cases, right?
Yeah.
And you need to assess the previous year questions, and you need to assess where you are strong, where you are weak, and prepare accordingly. In those cases also, no coaching center can help you a single person, right? They always teach you in a batch or in a group. So
Mhm.
it's only for the depth of the subject knowledge. It's not for any preparation directly. So after that, whatever you need to work on, you need to do that. And see, previously all people used to talk about hard work. Now it's not hard work, it's a smart work, because you don't have a time for that, right? Hard work, I mean, you can, smart work is indirectly a hard work, but hard work is not always smart work, because you can read out all the things whole day 24 hours, but then also your selection may not happen, because you are not doing it
Right.
in a smarter way, right? Whatever you need to do it for cracking that exam, you need to do. It's not like you need to cover each and every inch of civil engineering, right? So
Right.
those 2 points if we keep in mind, and also have some patience in mind, because in India government jobs take some times. In between there is a lot of chances of distraction, or going to some other I mean some other jobs. So that is not, I mean, if you have the clear goal, that is not suggested for you, right?
Right. Right. At the end of the
So
day, you have to study on your own, right? Whether you take coaching from an institute, or whether you are reading from the books. At the end of the day, you have to make that effort to get the selection, right? And it's good if you can. strategize and come up with a good plan. But the effort is, there's no substitute for hard work and effort, right? And which no coaching institutes can do. So that's really a great insight
See,
for everybody, right?
there,
Yeah,
there, there is a common example. A child can be born from a parent. It can be fed. It can be fed by a parents, but they need to grow up on their own. There is no
exactly,
other way.
exactly.
No, it's
Yeah,
a very
that's
good
that's
answer
that's
that
very
you
true. Yeah.
need to do it efficiently, like smart work with
Yes,
efficiency, and hard work is always there. You have to do hard work, but at least smart work and efficiency can actually help you to cross these borders.
Yes, see,
So
every
that's a very
every
good.
every examination does not demand the same thing. That's the main point. So
hmm
if that happens, then every exam would be same exam. There should
Right.
not be different types of exam. So if I appearing from for Kolkata Municipal Corporation exam, then the question pattern would be like whatever job it does as a municipal corporation. But if you are appearing for PWD exam, then it's like what are the job characteristics of the PWD. So you need to
That's right.
understand those things very specifically, right? So, and if you are appearing for a private company interview, then you need to prepare yourself in that way. So, apart from being in Jacobs, I have also cleared 4 to 5 private jobs also, but I didn't join. So that was another story. But yes, that also I did. So
Wow.
it's just the clarity you need in a life, in your life.
Like
Right.
what you are going for, you need to know like what this demands. If this demands knowledge in transportation highway, you need to only know transportation highway. You don't need to
Yes,
kind of it's good to have a knowledge of other departments, but you don't need to know that in depth, right? That's what you're saying basically, right? And if,
yes,
if it's
yes,
an exam, PWD kind of exam, you need to know all the basics for all the subjects pretty good. So
yes.
yeah, that's a pretty good thing that you said. Yeah,
Yeah,
Som, if you
yeah.
want to add something.
Yeah, it's a great journey actually, cracking so many government and as well as private exams. That's now that we are hearing. So that's really great. And yeah, you had a focused goal, and I think that what helped you move forward, right? Uh, so yeah, that's great. So lastly, if you have any final suggestion, I know you covered all the tips and tricks, but any final suggestion for future aspirants, or anything you would like to convey to our viewers, regarding how to crack exams, or anything in general, if
Like
you can.
let's say I'm a civil engineering student in first year or second year, what would you tell me, like how to prepare myself so that in future, be it in private, be it in government, let's say, tell it for both things. Like let's say I have an aspiration to do good in private and I have an aspiration to do good in government, so how should I prepare myself?
Okay, so I'll come to Santo's questions. Few just give me another opportunity because I need to mention something. It's that in India, many aspirants are basically from lower middle class to middle class people, right? So
hmm
there would be some time when you are preparing for your exams or you are not getting jobs. You will be in very much dilemma in which direction you will go. Right? That's a
hmm
major point. And sometimes seeing your parents in distress, you may cry in your own. Right? It happens. I mean, nobody will explain those things, but it happens. But it's not like end of the journey. You need to keep yourself, believe in yourself and your process. So as MS Dhoni always mentioned, it's not the final we are playing, it's the process we are playing. And
Exactly.
many people just diverted to the final of the match, or the final match timing, right? So it's the process, always it's the process that makes a person, I mean, different
Right.
from his earlier stages. It's not a competition with others. It's a process which you can evolve yourself from a person to a different level of person, right? So I also have faced so many things. I mean, it was not easy leaving the IIT dream, because it was my dream, really so-called dream, or it was a passion to have an degree from IIT and go abroad. But when I saw my parents in distress, it was more harder than my dream. So it at those junctions you need to take some good decisions. That also
Right.
matters, right?
Right.
So if now coming to sign your questions, is that if I am preparing, suppose if I have passed out from college and I did not have any job, then what should I do? Firstly, there are many temptations, like I should go to the IT industry, or I should go to the banking, or I should go to the, see, every industry is very good. I'm not against anybody. But if you want to stick with your industry or your discipline, so you can do that. It's not like in civil engineering there is no jobs. It's not like that. So being a general category, if I can go get so many jobs in private, in also in government, then you
Mm,
also can do that. Okay. and
exactly.
and many of our batches, many of our friends in our batch also, you also know that they have
Right.
passed through similar situations, like, so it's a uh, motivation. I mean, it's a goal, it's a motivation, it's a process that matters. Now coming to the first year or second year student. So whenever you are starting your subject journey from second year onwards, I think you should start seeing the questions or seeing the requirement of the industry, which which I missed it at that time. It may
I
be
think we
my
all.
fault. It may be my fault that I did not try that much of. I did not give my 100% effort to know those things. So I think you just try to be familiarized with the seniors, maybe pass out seniors, or some industry know-how. If you know anybody, you just have a conversation with it. There is LinkedIn, and there is many other platforms are there. So you can have a discussion with many professionals that what they are doing, are you aligned with those thinking or not. So by those discussions, you can clear out your I mean, you can clear out your not misunderstanding.
Queries, doubts.
Yes, you can clear out your queries, or any kind of hazard. If you in your mind, you can clear out all those things, so that it is a clear goal you want. So see, many people have seen that if somebody got into IITs, they always think about this package which they are getting after BTech. But many people are there also. They are doing masters and PhDs from outside university. So there are many options are there. That's my point. So you just need to align you with those options. That's the point you need to do.
Right.
For that, if you need some conversation with some people, or you'll Google it in proper way, so that you can get some idea. So, and there is, I mean, there is Quora, there is LinkedIn, everywhere you can see some journey, some people, some professionals sharing their journey from previous from their life. So you just see where you fit yourself, mentally, physically, and also financially. So that is, I mean, if you do this exercise from second year onwards, apart from being in your good, being attentive to your studies, then it will help definitely. And you need to wait very leisure time after being pass out. That I can guarantee.
No, very well-rounded answer that you gave. I mean, I'm sure the students who are watching this video will surely appreciate the time and effort that you put in and to sit with us and share these experiences. And also, as you said, we are also making these videos so that people who are the students, they can actually see and understand and get some direct knowledge from people who have actually cracked these exams, or if they want to do a masters in like foreign country, we are also covering that. So all the aspects we are covering, so who have actually done good things in civil engineering, so basically so that people can learn from these professionals, right? So
Yeah.
no, thank you so much, we really appreciate your time today. Swam, if you want to add something.
Yeah, and as you know, like Moinak was saying, when we were also, so we all graduated from the same university, same batch, right? And like during second year, we had, like, I had no clarity, right? What any government exams are, and what it entails into get to the industry, right? So the- like the point of these sessions are to basically try to help the people out, especially people who are in their undergrad or who have just graduated, right? To see the approach and to see how, or see basically the journey of people. So that's basically the point, and I think Moinak has helped a lot in that, so thank you so much for that.
The
And
earlier, the earlier the struggle you start, the earlier it will end. I
of
mean,
course,
the major part. There
there
is
is no.
always challenge in your job after having job, but The struggle we are talking about, getting a good job or getting a job you wanted or we wanted. So that earlier you start from for second year, because in second year there is hardly that much of pressure of your subject. So if you start exploring those options, then it will give you the clarity. And
Exactly.
if you don't have any clarity, you will go through all those pains. You are bound to do that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
With more
And
clarity, it will be a easier path, and like
Yes,
otherwise, they have to experience what we have experienced. Basically,
yes,
like
yes,
let's say we did MS from masters, we experienced those challenges. You did the entire government job. You cracked all the, but before that, you had to kind of find it on your own, right?
yes,
What
yes,
how
definitely.
it entails, because you didn't start from second year. So it is
right.
better like when they have time from second year, first year, third year. So when you understand all these things, it will be a smooth experience later on.
Exactly. And
Yes,
like from what I see, yeah, and like what I see, you have to struggle at least once, right, to get where you are. So the sooner you do, the better it is for you, right?
yes,
So
yes.
that's always there, right?
See,
So yeah,
I mean, most of our batchmates don't have that much of financial support from their families. So, to establish yourself, you need to go to those phases. So, the earlier you do, the earlier it will settle.
right, right.
Oh, great,
So
great
yeah,
guys.
I think that's all for today. So thank you so much again for making time to be with us today. It's always a pleasure, and also a moment of pride for us to share a journey of a dear friend like you, right? Whom we had spent 4 years doing undergrad. And I'm sure your journey and would inspire a lot of aspirants and instill confidence in them, to take up that journey, right? To pursue their goals and not to give up the road to success, because it's never a straight road, right? So thank you again, Moina, for being with us today.
Yes, I mean, one person being benefited from our discussion, then we all are happy. So that's
Exactly.
the point of our discussion. It's not my journey, not one people's journey. It's all our journey. If it helps
Mhm.
one person, then also we are fortunate to do those things, do these things.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Moina, for being with us. And for our viewers, if you like the content we are making, please like and share our channel, and also subscribe our channel. That will boost the algorithm. That's how the algorithm works. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
And also for any queries, if any query comes, then you can put forward to the forum. We can answer all those things.
Sure, sure. That's a very good point that Moinak mentioned. If you have any queries, you can comment in the video only, right? So Moinak will be very helpful, or very generous of Moinak to say this, so he can also respond to those queries, right? So thank you again. I think hope this video really helps you out.